the reason I was asking is I felt like it might be pertinent, and I'd love to have you on Salty Nerd sometime, or talk to you more if I'm not annoying you, because like I didn't know I was a fan of your work my whole life, but I've been a fan of your work my whole life because of my mom, who's in the chat.
Yeah, his mom is in the chat. It is this young lady I'm looking for. There she is. PJ.
Oh yeah, that's my mom.
PJO.
She got me in. Like I saw Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness way freaking younger than I should have. So God bless. You know what I mean? You know, like,
I feel that one.
Yeah, like way younger. And she was into like, you know, I don't want to like absolutely no disrespect whatsoever, but like what I've always called, like, you know, like B horror movies, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
which I don't mean in any disrespectful way whatsoever, but that's like what
it's your budget. B is your budget. You can't help that.
Yeah, you know, but what you guys did was what you had. Like, I mean, I remember when my mom and I saw Army of Darkness in the theater.
It's a decent budget. I mean, that's not
that one. That was the one. Yeah, we were like, I remember talking about, like, imagine if 1 or 2 had that budget. You know what I mean? Like, how dope would that have been? You know, like,
there would have been different movies. They're all 3 because of the first one being $500,000. The second one being $6 million, and the third one being $18 million. They're all very different movies.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, one of my favorite moments with Bruce Campbell at a convention where he's talking, and somebody stood up and asked the question, what's the deal with the differences between Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and Evil Dead 3 Army of Darkness? Why are they so different? And I thought they were supposed to be sequels. And Bruce just shot out, well, clearly it's the tumor in your brain. And the guy goes, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's not the tumor.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
and Bruce goes, I don't know about that, man. You better get it checked. Something's wrong up there.
Well, when we made Evil Dead 1, we certainly never thought there would be an Evil Dead 2.
Wasn't it a rights thing? Wasn't Evil Dead, like, you would know way better than me. This is just shit that I've read, that I've, you know, reported on way in the past. That it was a rights thing. So like when he wanted to make 2, he didn't have the rights to 1, so they basically kind of rebooted 1, but with less people. Is that right, or was it a rights thing, like a movie rights?
Well,
thing?
he couldn't use footage from the first one, so he had to reboot that stuff that he wanted. So
it's more
to
like
make
it's more like a reboot, right? Dead Till Dawn is more like a reboot.
Well, just the beginning of it. Well,
It's
I mean, once
it.
You know, once you get through the retelling of the initial story, which he had to recreate, then it pretty quickly moves into its own new realm of Bruce being the monster. You know, instead of in the first one where it's the girls are the monsters.
Yeah.
You know, one of the temporary titles between Book of the Dead and Evil Dead was Fee Monsters.
Going back to Kevin Sorbo, Diana wants to ask, Sorbo had a blood clot or something.
Oh, yes.
Dude was 40-pound leather woven pants. Did you have to work around him being absent for resulting heart condition?
No, I wasn't on Hercules at that time. I was on Xena.
Yep.
So I saw Kevin any number of times as he withered away because he wasn't allowed to work out.
What?
Well,
That's
he
like
had a blood clot, and so his muscles all went away, and they were shooting around him. He could only shoot for like an hour or 2 a day. And so Bruce Campbell took over the series, really, and suddenly it became the adventures of Aeolus and Autolycus, and Hercules would make small appearances.
Because I did watch the series, and I was always curious why that happened.
Yeah, blood clot.
Damn, that's a fucking bummer, dude. Like,
hey, he worked right through it.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, it kind of reminds me of something else that happened, because I remember you telling me when Kevin Smith, the New Zealand actor,
who died,
yeah, he died. That was
he
while
was
you were
Ares.
still over there. Yeah, he played Ares.
Yeah, I did the the last episode of Xena is a double episode. I did the one right before that, and he co-starred in that one, Kevin Smith.
Yeah, he's a good actor. And from what I hear, a really nice guy. What were your thoughts?
A tremendously nice guy. Yeah, fell off a set in China. And I have no doubt that he was drunk as hell. So what the fuck, you know?
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
No, it's all right. His best buddy, Charlie Haskell, who was my first AD when I was the second unit director, Charlie went on to direct, and he's directed everything they've done down there. He directed the last Evil Dead thing, a couple of them. Charlie and
Evil
Charlie,
Dead or the
one Ash versus Evil Dead.
Ash, okay.
Charlie directed some of the episodes of that.
Okay.
And Charlie and Kevin Smith were best friends, and Charlie was a short, pot-bellied guy, and his friend was this 6'2" Adonis, and the two of them had traveled. New Zealanders travel a lot because, living on a little island, and Charlie and Kevin had traveled around the world, and they had pictures of, they would drink the local beer and pull up their shirts and show their bellies. And Charlie had a big pot belly, and Kevin Smith, of course, was totally ripped. And but that was their
poor thing. He was totally ripped. Oh.
Yeah. But that was their pastime. Traveling the world and drinking beer.
Hey man, if I may, this could be a clip in a stoner moment. You were talking about they travel a lot because they're on an island. But if you think about it, man, what's the definition of an island? Anybody? It's a body of land completely surrounded by water, right?
Right.
If you think about it, because we're on Earth, we're all living on an island, man.
And that is definitely a stoner way
or
of thinking.
maybe it's an isthmus.
Isthmus. Hey, Josh, you got to work with a couple of people that later became more well known. One of them, Keith and I hate passionately, is Alex Kurtzman.
Oh yeah,
we can't stand the guy.
Whoa!
Seems like
did you know
he was very young when he was very young when I worked with him.
Yeah,
I just want to know,
that was on Xena, right?
On Xena?
He was a kid. That was like his first job.
Okay. So you didn't look at him and think, that's the guy that's going to destroy Star Trek in the future. That didn't happen to you? You didn't have that moment?
I didn't have that moment. I thought, okay. What an ambitious young man.
I bet people thought that about Hitler too.
Yeah.
Sure. But the one I because as I recall, you had some really nice things to say about him, is Karl Urban.
Karl was great. That was the first time I did 2 episodes with him. Those are the first 2 times he was ever on film.
Was on Xena.
On Xena, and he got stuck with that sorry ass role of Cupid.
Yeah.
And he had to wear those horrible wings, the big giant prop.
He was also Caesar, right?
Yes, he was.
All right. So if my mom is still in the chat, I am very upset with you that I did not know this because I never knew Karl Urban was in Xena. I must have missed those episodes. I love.
They're really funny
that
because
dude.
those fucking wings are so tiny. They look so goofy.
I gotta
They're
look this shit up
huge.
now. Oh, look, my mom just face palm. That's hilarious.
They're huge, those wings.
Also, Dork, you got to understand, when production wrapped up down there for a lot of what they were doing, a majority of the people that had gotten their start working on both Hercules and Xena were rolled right into the production for The Lord of the Rings. That's the reason why a lot of these actors ended up there.
The entire crew of Lord of the Rings is the Hercules crew.
Including
Peter Jackson is the luckiest motherfucker on the planet because
that's the headline on comicbook.com tomorrow.
Got started on Xena and Hercules, right?
If Hercules had not been canceled after season 5, Peter Jackson would not have had a crew.
Or he would have had a very much less experienced and inferior crew. And
yeah, they probably.
Yeah, what was he going to get? College students from University of Wellington? I mean, the professional filmmakers of New Zealand, who are very good, are all in Auckland, and they were all on Hercules and Xena.
Yeah.
And when I watched Lord of the Rings, it just looks like a Hercules episode to me.
And I totally see that, but maybe, wow, you know, it's the butterfly
Better
effect,
effects.
man.